Supporting the Foo Fighters was great. It was magic, as one would expect. I came in like open-minded because of the size of the venue. I didn't know whether like it was gonna swallow us up or not. Not the size of the stage, but more like the whole arena and the way things work is new to us in that part of the industry. But it's the same. There's just more people, and it was wonderful. I think they are notoriously nice guys, and that sounds boring and cliched, but they actually were. And I think because of their stature, they can pick who they work with. So everyone around them was also hardworking and nice and friendly. Felt like being a bit like in a museum, where like a bit like when we did the Maida Vale session, like everyone was like, come this way, and being really nice because they knew that we were like not used to that sort of thing. And we played well, and the crowd, I'd say like 60% of the crowd enjoyed it. The other 40% didn't care or didn't like us, which is good.
Was a description from one person. But I think a lot of people, like a lot of Foo Fighters fans, maybe Foo Fighters would be like the heaviest thing that they listen to. We're obviously on the other side of that, so it's like.
I think whoever that person was should not use the word rape so freely. What if someone got raped in the ear?
I mean,
I think
it could have been a cry for help.
I think we should use their words a bit more carefully. But yeah, I can understand that we weren't for everyone in that room. But then it's the beauty of that whole gig. It was that we got lucky with a band that could take risks. They came up to us before the gig, came to our room, and we hung out afterwards. I got a piggyback, Dave Grohl.
I got in the way of Kylie Minogue during the show. She was like, she didn't speak like that.
You're terrible at accents.
Yeah, but yeah, so she's a bit short.
Sexual violence doesn't start and end with rape. It starts in our books and behind our schools.
It's the first year we've ever played in Europe, more than 2 shows in a row. It's the first year we've been played on national radio before 11 at night. It's the first time we sold venues out from places we didn't live. It's the first time we were financially stable, being away from home longer than a week. It's the first time we enjoyed each other's company in a van. It's been a wonderful experience. Like, it's what you work towards is kind of, I guess, security, to be able to kind of enjoy your music freely of constraints of normality, I guess. And it's before the album we didn't expect anything from it. We just thought we'd do an album for ourselves and make a real effort with it, not like, well, just put it out there and not care. Like we wanted to really make an effort with the release and stuff, but we weren't worried if no one liked it, because we did. So everything after it was a bonus for us.
I think also none of the momentum has stopped. It's been building and building and building, and we kind of thought maybe at the end of the festival season things would kind of teeter off, but it hasn't. We've just been, because we've been sticking at it as well. So I think now that we've been sticking at it, we can kind of keep going and keep going. Steve Lamacq is very important just as a band, as a person, and I think it definitely helps a lot, gets your music out there. I think one of the really important things was actually just releasing an album, like rather than having singles or videos, which is what we've done before for like 7 years. I think people can actually latch on to something like a big release, and I think that also radio latches onto it as well, because if you've got a little single from a band, they mightn't want to push it too much because you don't know where that band are going to go, where they're going to break up.
Also restored my faith a bit, because you get, I think, a lot of people that we were like adamant that we should stop, or at least behind closed doors into our face they'd be like, so how's it going, like what are you doing? And we'd have to convince not loads of friends, but people, and I think a lot of people were just thinking it, like, you should stop now and get a real job, or at least stop what you're doing, because we all have real jobs anyway. But it restored my faith in a lot of things, because we always had an end game, which was to do something that we really loved and enjoyed performing, that we could tour on any scale. It didn't really, we didn't have the scale in mind, did we? It was just we wanted to tour something that we thought was beautiful. But like I always thought it was kind of like folklore that someone like Streatham would pick you up and champion you. Like championing just doesn't happen anymore. Like after John Peel and Streatham and like you just didn't think it happened as like that anymore. Especially because record labels just weren't interested in the slightest. So I just had no faith in that. I like in the kind of in the happenstance of luck in the industry. But it's all changed, you know. It can happen to, if it can happen to us, it can happen to anyone really, as long as your music's good or half good, you know. So yeah, I mean,
industry recognition, I suppose, is kind of. I wouldn't say it's important to us, because like we don't have a label. It's not really. That's not important to us. But I think what you just talked about with the radio stuff is like that there are certain platforms available to you that will push your music further and further. So things like the Mercury is a good reason for people to. A good platform for getting your music out to more people and maybe to a wider audience. And I think that
we applied.
Yeah.
We applied for the Mercury Prize, not thinking we'd win it. I think Sanford's album should have won it. We said that before, didn't we? And like we didn't actually apply. Our manager did behind our back as a surprise, thinking that we were a shoo-in. And like when he told us, we were like, "Oh, that's weird, but that's amazing, cool, all right, thanks." But we were excited about the prospect of being put on a new platform, not about winning it. We knew we weren't going to win it. It was just not. We just knew we wouldn't win it, but we thought we'd get nominated, yeah. But we weren't bitter at all not getting nominated because of the people that were. Some of the people that were, we were like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that we weren't nominated, because the people that were, that shouldn't have been, is more important than us not getting nominated. I think it's just like it's awful. So like it was just a write-off. It was like what Benjamin Clementine said. It was just like, oh, whatever, it doesn't matter. We'll probably apply again when our second album comes out, because it's things like that you can't ignore. It's important. Like if you want to interact with people and learn things and grow as an artist, you need to put yourself out there and challenge yourself all the time. So you can't do that by not applying for things and not pushing yourself.
Our live show has
evolved
from. It hasn't evolved. It's exactly the same as it always was.
No, we're tighter.
Yeah.
Oh well, we are tighter. You're not. You're getting worse on guitar.
I don't care.
No, I know you don't. That's why you're getting worse, but in a good way. But yeah, it's the same as it's always been. I think that's why people find our show endearing, is because we will play each show the same, which is with passion and just have fun with it and laugh at yourselves. Otherwise it's just dull.
I forgot that the Foo Fighters show wasn't our show. I went down to the crowd and went to get in them, but everyone looked really scared and a bit flabbergasted.
Flabbergasted?
Yeah, which is not the usual reaction. I
So
normally get hugs and love.
That's an archaic reaction, isn't it, Bowen? Debut albums famously take 10 years in the making. Like the first album's always 10 years in the making or something, because you don't want to just rush your first album, because you're only as good as your last game, really. But we didn't want to ruin that opportunity of having a debut that was rubbish, so we waited until we weren't rubbish to make it. But we're recording in January, second album, so we're there.
I'm glad it took that long, because if we had done it earlier, we wouldn't probably.
We wouldn't be a band now, no. Uncut comparing us to Grime, I think was a really lovely thing to read, because I think we got spurred on by Grime artists and
Yeah, that's
and like hip hop artists like Yeezus and obviously Stormzy and people like that. Not Stormzy, fucking Skepta coming out and like pushing themselves and the grime scene coming back because that's subversion. You know, that's like they were fighting against like how the communities were being suppressed via cutting out youth clubs and such, and obviously the government just being bastards in general. Our peers weren't around. There were no peers kind of just making
it's an interesting
music. But it isn't generically peers, isn't out like, you know, guitar bands or whatever. So I think we were, I don't know, I think it's a weird one. There are loads of bands that are political and there are loads of bands that are not awash with commercial terror, but like it just takes them longer because they're not being funded by labels.
I think with the urgency thing and the kind of the comparison to grime is actually quite an interesting insight, because that was a lot of the music that was getting us excited around the time of writing it and putting it together.
Yeah.
I think like a lot of the tracks, especially things like Well Done was based around the idea of like kind of like mimicking a grime beat and kind of and the grime flow and stuff like that.
And having like, obviously a lot of grime songs are based on a phrase.
Right.
The vocal hook is the phrase. So that was my thinking behind that. But yeah, I mean, our urgency is, there's loads of bands that are urgent, they're just not getting the platforms that we are because they haven't got lucky yet. It's really hard to get away from all the tripe that's on the radio.
I think also the thing with urgency is like urgency. When you see you know, grime artists and stuff like that, you get that sense of urgency because there's that honesty behind it. You can't fake it because you can't contrive it. You can't like go, oh, let's make a really urgent sounding thing, let's be this, you know. It just comes across as that. It's not something you're contriving to do, it's just what is.
Our plans for next year and the near future are to finish album 2 by Christmas, record it in January, release in April. We're just knuckling down on the second album and touring, just doing what we've been doing for the last 3 years. But it's a perpetual thing now, perpetual motion, like everything's getting more exciting and more like just like all our reactions and everything we're doing is just constant now, rather than like it being like episodic and having to go back to work for 3 weeks and then forgetting all the song. We're just like, we're in it at the moment and it's really exciting. It's cool, it's really cool. Have I seen Tarquin recently? Yes, I can't get away from Tarquin. I wish I could. Actually no, I don't. I wish I could really understand Tarquin and talk to Tarquin, find out what Tarquin is actually about.
Tarquin has lost all meaning.
And then I wouldn't want to bury Tarquin. But Tarquin's here, Tarquin's there, Tarquin's everywhere.
Are you going to do a Tarquin too? Like kill them off in the second album or something?
Yeah, it's called Tarquin. It's based on...
Let's write it now. Tarquin.
Who are ya? Where you gone, Tarquin? Sorry about Well Done.
Bit of wah.
No wahs. You got rid of your wah pedal. Look at that view.